Hey mini enthusiasts, how you doing? Welcome back. I hope you're having a great day. And where did I leave you last on the project, the next project? So it's been a busy couple of weeks. Vinny has gone. I'm gutted about that, but I'm glad it went to a good home. I didn't get as much as I could have done for it, but I'm comfortable with that. And the search started for the next project. And I left you last time having lost an auction due to not meeting the reserve, haggling with the buyer and failed. And that evening I was going to look at an RSP Mini Cooper, which I thought would be really interesting for the channel. I still think it would be now, but when I saw it, it had lots of restoration work in the past and it needed a lot of work, and it just didn't warm to me. But the blue Mini Mayfair did. The thought of owning a car that had only done 12,000 miles, had never been restored, does not need restoring, just needs tidying up. It got the better of me. So I had to go back to the buyer, and you're gonna have to wait until the end of the video to find out what went on. But I know I showed a glimpse of it last week, but I thought I'd show you the full eBay bidding and how it went and my thoughts. So catch up with you at the end of the video and I'll let you know how it went. We are prepped, we are primed, we are ready to go. I was saying those words pretty much a year ago today. So 21st of July 2019, I was doing exactly the same thing as I'm doing now when I was bidding on Project Sprout. And this will be exactly the same. So if I win it, it will be entirely a YouTube build. So we are bidding on, or we're going to bid on, a 1984 Mini Mayfair. Got 11 minutes and 12 seconds to go. It's quite local to me, it's in Horsham, so I've already been and seen the car. So I know what it looks like, I'm pretty pleased with it. The pictures in the advert don't really do it justice. So the pictures are not fantastic. They're okay. There's a lot of light filter in there, so you don't really get a good view of it. The paintwork looks scratched up, it probably is, but it is. It's got lots of swirl marks on it just from, you know, improper cleaning over the years, and to be fair, it's 36 years old. In this photo, the seals don't look that great, but they are genuinely in pretty good condition. They just need a good tidy up. Interior doesn't look great in the photos, but it's completely original. This car has only done 12,000 miles in 36 years. So the interior still looks like new. Headlining is nice and bright and white. It's not dirty or anything like that. And yeah, it's kind of a bit of a time warp car. It's even got the original radio in it. I don't actually know, because it's a Mayfair, so it may well have come with that radio rather than it being an optional extra. But it's not a tape deck, it doesn't take cassettes, it is just AM, FM radio. But like I mentioned, I think I can do something with this car. It's not being portrayed in its best light at the moment. Downside is it's an automatic. I think that holds back the price, that limits the value. And I think if I win it, I will then decide whether I'm going to convert it to a manual or not. So put a manual engine in, a gearbox in it, or just leave it as an automatic. But it's going to be a bit of a project for the channel. I've been here before, I've been disappointed before, so we don't actually know whether I'm going to win it. I did speak to the buyer and asked him what the reserve was, and he had a reserve in for £5,000, which he, in his own words, said he thought was a little bit too much, but he wanted to let the auction run and see what the bidding gets to. I agree with him. I think £5,000 too much. I've got a price in my head. I think it's worth up to £4,000 as it is. So the plan is to get bidding on it. If he's not changed the reserve, then it won't sell, but I've already got his number, so if it doesn't sell, I shall message him straight afterwards and say would he be willing to take the highest bid, or if someone mucks him around, the next highest bid, which is kind of what I had with Project Sprout. So the first thing I'm going to do now is at 3,000 at the moment. I just want to get a bid in. So just so the page doesn't time out or something like that. So I know it's going to be okay. So let's go 3,050 just to test the water. So I said I must bid at least 3,100, so we go 3,100. That's interesting straight away. So it says I'm the highest bidder, so I haven't been outbid yet. So I know eBay does, they call it proxy bidding. So you can put in a bid early and then it will automatically bid up for you. So it's not done that in this case. That means anyone else that's had a bidding before has only bid up to 3,000, which is good. It's encouraging, that is. But obviously the reserve price has not been met. So we've got 7 minutes to go. Like I say, it's a 12,000 mile car. I did inquire how it had managed to clock up so few miles, and I can't remember the exact story, but the seller is selling it on behalf of his dad, so it all gets a little bit complicated there. But I did manage to speak to his dad okay, and the story goes, I think it belonged to a doctor that worked in London, and he bought it for his wife, and I can't remember what he said. For whatever reason, his wife, I think he said his wife passed away actually, and then so it had like sentimental value, so he just kept hold of it for a long time until I think maybe a year ago, because he's only had it a year. A year ago he gave it to a friend, just gifted the Mini to him. He didn't know what to do with it, put it up for sale, and the guy that owns it now bought the car. I didn't ask him how much he paid for it. He's done some little bits of bodywork on it that are not really done to a great standard, so just for purely cosmetic reasons, where the jack had been rubbing around in the boot, etc., he asked for the boot floor to be painted. So they painted the boot floor. I think there was a scratch on the rear corner which he had painted, and I think you can actually see it a little bit in the photos. So underneath the headlights he had painted. So it is, you know, it's 34 years old, it's all original panels on it. There is no real sort of surface rust anywhere, but there is a little bit of scabbing underneath the headlights, which is not unusual. Not unusual at all actually, but I don't think it wants wings or a front end or anything like that. It probably just wants taking back to bare metal, rust proofing, and then painting maybe the whole front. But it's still quite bright looking. Obviously it's been in a garage rather than out getting sun bleached. And yeah, the condition of it is just phenomenal. It's not often I go and look at a Mini and I'm genuinely quite surprised at how you always think the worst. But this one, I looked at it, I was genuinely like, wow, I can see a lot of potential in that car. Even you lift up all the carpets and all the floors, never been touched, and they're all still perfect condition. Even the rear subframe, I mean, you look at it, the rear subframe looks a couple of years old. It just looks a bit dusty, and it's not, it's the original subframe, it's just where it's not being used. So obviously, it might be a little bit frustrating this, because I'm not going to know if the reserve is still £5,000. I don't think it's going to make the reserve, but the guy was quite, when I spoke to him, he said it may not make the reserve, so I think he's kind of expecting that. And I think presented in a different light, actually, with better photos, better information about the car, it would probably make more money. But that's what it is with eBay. If you want to sell a car, you've really got to go into the effort, put in the effort of getting the listing perfect. When I sold Vinny, obviously I've done a walk around video of it, about 25-minute walk around video of it. I provided loads of information, good quality photos taken recently. You know, you've got to do your homework. So, like I say, I think my maximum bid, I would be uncomfortable going over 4,000, I think, but again, I wouldn't want to lose it for 4,050p, so I think we'll go 4,050, and I think I'll wait till the last couple of minutes to put the bid in, and then it will just proxy bid. And fingers crossed we get it for 3,100, I mean that would be absolutely fantastic, I'd be over the moon about that. You can use these things called bid sniper, can't you? But I never trust them. It's all right if you're trying to bid on something you're not worried about if you lose, but I always think if the bid sniper thing goes wrong, you've only got one hit, and I'd rather just be putting in the numbers myself, and it just makes it a bit more exciting as well. So we've not been outbid yet. I might take it down to the last minute actually. Nail biting, isn't it? Could this be the next project for the channel? So it is interesting, it's the first of the Mark V minis, so it's the first minis. It's not the first actually, so it's 12-inch wheels with disc brakes on the front. Obviously the Clubman's had that earlier. On the round nose mini, it's the first round nose mini with 12-inch wheels and disc brakes on it. And the disc brakes were obviously there, and the 12-inch wheels for safety, but they weren't very popular at the time. I don't think people liked the 12-inch wheels, they didn't like the black plastic arches, and they really didn't sell very well. I think they were under 1,000 a year back when these were released. Right, we're 1 minute 30 seconds, so let's get it in because it's going to ask us to confirm it. Let's go 4,052, it might not let me bid that. Yeah, it will. So it's 50 quid more than I want to. It's a minute to go. Seconds, let's do it. So we're still the highest bidder. My heart's actually going now. It is exciting doing this stuff. And like I say, it's still not reserved, still not been met, so there's going to be a conversation afterwards if no one else outbids me. But they're going to have to go 4,152, I think. Alts has gone to 3,433, 3.5, 25 seconds to go. Ooh. Is there any more bids coming in? I remember with Sprout it just went mental in the last few seconds, literally it just went bang, 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 and it went from 1,500 quid to about, I'm sure it's 2,250 or something like that. Right. 1 second, 365. I think we've got it. Well, I think we've got the highest bid anyway. Yes, yes. So, that's half the battle won. I was the highest bidder. No one bid above me, and the price it went to was £3,635, but it's reserved, not net. So, what I need to do now is get onto the seller. Like I say, he didn't think it was going to go for 5 either. He thought he'd put the reserve up too high. I wasn't sure whether he was going to lower it, but I think we will go to the seller. We'll ask him if he'll accept the bid, which hopefully will do, because yeah, the price that something goes at auction is the price that people are willing to pay. So if they only went for 3,635 this time, there'd be no point putting it back on again. In fact, if anything, it generally lowers the value a little bit, because if people keep seeing cars reappear on eBay, they get a bit cautious of them. So yeah, we might have just won a Mini, but you're gonna have to wait. Check back in soon and I'll be back with another video. But yeah, I'm pretty confident we've won the auction, so to speak. We just got to talk to the buyer, into letting it go below the reserve price now, which I think, from talking to him, I don't think it's going to be a difficult conversation, to be honest. So yeah, I'll try and update you as soon as I can, so keep looking out at the videos. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe, hit that bell button so you get a notification, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you remember the Sprout project, Sprout started from this a year ago, so let's see where this project goes. Thanks for viewing, cheers. So that kind of ended on a cliff edge. I didn't win the car, it didn't meet the reserve, and I tried contacting the seller after the auction. I could not get a hold of him by any means for 48 hours. I'd arranged to go and view an RSP Cooper. I went to see that car. It needed a lot more than it looked in the photos. It was pretty well priced, to be fair, but maybe I was looking for something special. And when I talk about something special, it was that blue Mayfair. When I went and saw that, it really made my heart race. I thought, wow, I've never seen a car that is in that good a condition, needs no restoration, does not need new panels or anything like that. It's pretty much spot on. So I went up to 3,900. We hit a bit of a checkmate there, and I slept on it overnight. I went and saw the RSP, and I thought, do you know what, for the sake of 100 quid, I'm missing a once in a lifetime opportunity to get a car like that has never been touched. So I've bought it. I've upped my bid. I've paid more than I wanted to pay, and what's next? I don't know. Let me know, guys. Like I said right at the start, this is entirely a YouTube build. What am I going to do from this car, with this car? I don't know yet. I've got lots of ideas, and I'll share them with you. Get in the comments down below. Let me know what you think, what you would do with it. If this was your car, unmolested, 12,000 miles, what are you going to do? It'd be interesting to see. Thanks.